Hello, thank you for tuning into this week's section of readings. Or these readings are valid for whenever you come to them, but this current incarnation. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Ghost Tarot. If I can get it over in the right spot so you can see it. Artwork by David Cossey. Let me get my glasses on to read that one. Cozy, Cozzi, and there's websites in the back here, which I'm not even gonna. I think it's less great. Bleh. Nope, can't speak today, but they're right there. If you're interested in the websites, go for them. There you go. The Oracle cards, Sword of Light Oracle by Radley Valentine, illustrations by Echo Chernick. That's what this box looks like. And there's the website. Where's the website? Here's the websites I found in the book here. So feel free to freeze frame and check anything out there that's interesting to you. I think there's a Radley Valentine one in there, so feel free to check anything out that works in your favor. And last but not least, I use dice, a 22-sided dice, substituting 22 for 0 for the Fool, and a 14-sided dice for the Minor Arcana, and I use a 4-sided dice to choose the element to dictate which suit of the Minor Arcana I'm going to use. It's from the Dice Shop, and the website is mathartfun.com. Hopefully you can see that if you want to. mathartfun.com. All right, with that being said, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Let's get into your reading. Hello, Pisces. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Pisces? Got the Page of Cups, which I think of as a Pisces card. Starting right off, the Moon is the actual card that's your card, but I think of the Page of Cups as one of us too. I'm a Pisces too, just in case you're wondering. Are we good? Was that your card? Yeah, and the Moon card's at the end, so there you go. So we're getting, what do you want? What do you need? Okay. What do you need? What do you need? So, somebody kind of walked away from this connection at some point, and I think it's the way these cards are printed. I keep looking at it, and it looks like there's too many cups, but I think it's because I need to put my glasses on. Yeah, it's the 5. Okay. So, somebody walked away from this situation at one point. You might have been the one walking away, or somebody else. And whatever it was you walked away from, I think it was you walking away. You walked away from it because it wasn't ideally what you thought you wanted at the very least. The question is something coming back from the past that at the time, well, see, this is one of those things where I feel like, for example, maybe you had a job in insurance or something, and then you're like, I didn't like insurance, so I went to something else. The question is, if it comes back and there's a better offer, is it going to feel like it did before, or is there a different version of this that actually could work for you? I'm not really sure I like it, is what I keep getting in the beginning. And I'm kind of like, I'm holding back. Something's coming your way. There's a possibility coming your way right here. It's coming. And the Devil card with the Page of Cups is kind of like, I don't know that I want it. I understand it's there. I understand it's for me. It's got my name on it. But I don't know that I want it. I'm not really sure that this is a direction I want to go in. I think this is going to be a really interesting read because I feel like my knee-jerk reaction is kind of like, oh, I don't think I want this. But this might be like a way to like say, if you really don't want it, this is how you make sure you get it out of your way. Versus also, if you decide, well, maybe there's some reason I could try it again. I feel like this is kind of helping you see, like, if it's coming your way, it help you put you in the advantage position to where I can easily move it out of my way, don't have to deal with it, or I can be like, all right, maybe I will try it, but on my conditions. I think that's where we're going with this, because I want what I want, and I'm not willing to sacrifice, and nor should you. And it's kind of like, I don't feel like this is right. When I keep pulling it forward, it's like the justice reversed is kind of like, I don't think this is right. I don't think I really want this. And I feel like I just keep feeling like this isn't, I keep feeling like this is a no-brainer. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. But a bigger part of the reading is kind of saying, maybe at least give it a consideration, even though for some reason that might be uncomfortable. If you at least are willing to give it a consideration, this might go your way. It's more about whatever you left in the past. It may be something similar, but not exactly the same coming back. And you might have a different place in this situation now. Kind of like maybe 10 years ago, you were in a different place in life and you kind of accepted things that maybe you didn't need to. Now going into it, you might be able to color this or angle this or arrange this in a way that actually serves you. I feel like this reading is going to head that direction. Before you say no to it, let's acknowledge the strength you have and the ability you have to do things differently, and make sure that you truly don't want this before you pass it by. Okay. Whatever this is, it does offer some sense of stability. Is that upside down? It is. I haven't had this deck very long, but I already shuffled in some upside down cards apparently. Be sure, like, I feel like these two cards together are saying, give yourself a chance and look at it. Sort it out. Nobody says you have to do anything. Or at least not take anything, that's for sure. But they're saying, make sure you look at the situation and decide what it's really about. Don't have that knee-jerk reaction if you could help it. Look at it, sift through the material, and make sure, like, is this exactly what I thought it was? Is this exactly what it was before? Are there some things that are different? Could this be for me? And I keep looking at this for me, for example, with insurance. I've worked in insurance before. It can be painfully boring. It can be very painfully boring. But if it came back with a different flavor, a different way of relating to it, it's like my first knee-jerk reaction would be like, oh, yeah, it's okay. But this reading would say to me, for example, just look at the possibilities. Just see what's there. See what it's made up of. See where it would be. See how much you would make from it. Just make sure that you're sure this has no chance for you. You definitely do want to take the past into account, but you also want to look at it like what it was before versus what I am now. How would that go differently for me now? If the person I am now versus the person I was then, if I had the information I do now, what would I do differently? Would I handle that differently? Would I look at it differently from the viewpoint I'm at now? Be careful not to just talk it down to yourself. Be very careful with that. Give yourself the honest moment to give it the fair checks and balances. We don't want to like make it look better than it actually is, clearly. But on the same token, we don't want to just poo-poo it because they're like, no, it was bad before, so I don't think I'm going to want to do that again. Whatever this is, it does come in quick, and it's not going to like stay for long, whatever it is. They're just kind of like, before it slips past you, be sure you really don't want it. That's all they're saying. If you're going to let it slip past you, be sure you really don't want it. There's more energy coming in. This random energy doesn't last long. It doesn't last long, and I don't think you have to keep it if you don't really want it. But whatever's coming in from the side here, can I just put some dice on that? Going way across. It's about giving it a fair chance to see what it really is. I'm going to use that job thing again. So it's kind of like, for example, the technical part of insurance for me, it's kind of like, oh, I'm going to fall asleep just thinking about it. Just thinking about it, I'm going to fall asleep. But if it's more with the dealing with the people and helping people solve things and kind of like, oh, this is what happened here and this needs to go differently, working with people versus the numbers, even though I do like numbers, which is ironic, but for some reason insurance is so painfully boring. It's kind of like there's something here that's different. And it's also kind of like, well, it pays well. It does pay well if I can find a way to deal with it. And it's kind of like, what if you were doing this and the other thing? I have worked in insurance where I've taken calls for people and it's worked very well. And I'm like, oh, there was that part of the job once. It didn't have to get all into the technical that deep. They just called and I had to do this or I had to do that and I know how to do this and I know how to do that. It was kind of lively and I didn't have to get bogged down with all the details. Actually, now that I think of it, there was that aspect that wasn't that bad. And it's kind of like, give yourself a chance to just think it out. That's all. Give it a moment. That's all. Before you say no to something that might actually serve you, at least in the temporary, go for it. Go for it in the sense of think it through. That's all you. They're kind of pushing just for you to think it through, because you got an outcome here that there's a possibility that might work for you, might. And the only way you'll know is if you really think it out, maybe research it a little bit. The Lovers could come in, and then the Four of Swords, which is healing. Before you say no to this, something here is trying to make this energy better. It's trying to show you something. It's trying to help you see something here that maybe wasn't there before. I feel like it's also trying to show you that you're stronger than you were before, and you know what to and what not to put up with. And this might be one of those things. This literally might be just by going through it emotionally and just considering it. It might show you how much you've grown, and it may help you really lock in with that. Kind of like, well, I knew I was doing better with that, but now when I really look at it, like, wow, I am actually doing a lot better. It's ironic that sometimes just acknowledging that on the conscious level brings you up a couple levels. Kind of like, oh, you know what? I do that better now. Oh, you know what? I don't put up with that anymore. Oh, you know what? I know this more than that. And I've been doing that for a while. I wasn't really thinking of it in a conscious way. That can really bring up your energy. That can help things a lot for you. It's kind of shocking. There's possibilities here. Just because you're giving something a chance, just because you're thinking it out, doesn't mean you're taking it. Doesn't mean you're accepting it and bringing it forward and, I'll take this home with me. Doesn't mean you're doing that. But by going through the mental process and thinking it through, you improve things just by doing that. And there's you're going from the Page of Cups here to your card, the Moon card, which is the Pisces card. Kind of like maybe before you weren't completely in focus with your strengths and abilities, but they're saying you have really solidified things and you really need this knowledge. You need this on the conscious level, because when you have it on the conscious level, it changes how you handle things. It's almost like, maybe you had people in the past that were a little bit verbally abusive. And at one point you're like, I'm not going to do this anymore. And you just got away from it. And at this point in life, you're like, when you see that happening, you just kind of shy away from it. You just kind of move away from it. But then when you think it out, you're like, you know what? I don't have to shy away from that, because if these people start with me, I know right away how to shut that down. I'm not going to let that even start. I don't have to be afraid of that. And I'm realizing that I'm not really afraid of that. For some reason, I have this knee-jerk reaction of just veering away from it when I start seeing it happening, and I don't need to do that. I can head towards it, and if they start with me, I'll just shut it down and I'll keep on going. I'm not the person I used to be. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to let this energy or this weather pattern, for example, dictate where I'm going to go. If I want to go there, just because some people that are unfavorable are also there, I can still go there and not have to worry about them. And realizing I've gotten that strong where maybe in the past it did dictate me. Like for a lot of us in high school, maybe certain behaviors would keep us from going here or going there because we didn't want to deal with those certain behaviors. But now that we're older, we've found different ways to handle that. We're like, you know what? I want to go over here and I can do this, and I'm going to go there. I'm going to do what I want to do, and if there's those elements there, I know how to handle it to where I can shut it down and I don't have to worry about it anymore. And acknowledging that on the mental side really does bring a lot more opportunities to you, because you'll start to realize, I was missing out on things. I was missing out on this and missing out on that. Not because I didn't see it, but because I wouldn't let myself go anywhere near it, because I was having this knee-jerk reaction of just, oh, nope, got to walk away from that. Oh, nope, got to walk away from that. But now that I've acknowledged it, kind of like, no, I'm not going to walk away from that. I can handle that. It's probably not going to be that bad anyway, but I can handle that, and I can see what else is there for me too. I think we're done. I feel like I'm talking really fast today. I don't know why, so I apologize. If you're watching this on YouTube, there should be a button down there somewhere that can help you slow down how fast I'm talking. So sorry about that. But also, thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.